The Adidas Adi Zero Boston 12. 350 plus miles. Is it time to call it quits with this shoe? Let's talk about it and find out. So before we get into the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, watching content, thanks so much. Love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of updates. Without further ado, let's begin. Specs for the shoe somewhere where they're not going to contrast with the whiteboard. And we'll get into the usuals for this particular channel. Let's assess the outsoles at this time. 350 plus miles. The majority of these miles compared to the first 200 to 250 have now been entirely, maybe 90% on treadmill at this point, because the weather in Chicago, not great for running outdoors. But it will clear up soon, so I'm expecting to wear these a little bit better if we decide that this is the direction we want to go. So as you can see, that's the left and the right foot. And immediately, just without even, trying to give Adidas any praise here, they sure as heck don't need my praise at this point. The outsole of the shoe is quite impeccable, minus a few pieces at 350 plus miles, right? Only things that are wearing out are like directly in front of the toe box of the shoe, whether it's my running form or just something that's been going on. I've got this treadmill burn on the rubber itself. I believe that's not the light strike, that might be the EVA foam. That's this piece right here that kind of runs the bottom portion of the shoe. That's the more support foam rather than the foam that's supposed to be springy and working with the fly rods in the shoe. So that's kind of taken a wear here in the front. So I'm curious how also the rubber on the outsole is going to start ripping off on this piece of the shoe. So we'll monitor this. But again, it is quite smooth at this time in terms of losing a little bit of, I'd say, some of the ridges on the shoe, but that's okay. I was expecting this because, again, when you're running on a treadmill, wear is not going to be so much more abrasive as it is kind of more polishing because of the texture of the treadmill, and especially if the treadmill itself, the treads haven't been changed. That's what's going to happen. You're not going to get so much of a grip. You're going to get like this kind of rubber on that kind of rubber as well. So we're just polishing the shoe, as you can see. There's shiny spots, especially here. It's really hard to see without the light facing this direction, but maybe we can do some angles here just to kind of showcase it. But it is quite polished. So that's what's going on the right foot. Left foot, a similar story as well. We got a little bit more abrasion on this part of the area of the shoe as it's landing a little bit more flat. Update to our ripping of the light strike foam on this side. Again, continues to rip, but not causing too much of a performance issue, again, because it hasn't quite ripped into the central portion of the shoe. It is just on this inside, and I don't think it's causing much issues as far as I'm aware from just the feels of the shoe. What else? Okay, so the fit of the shoe is still consistent. We haven't ripped any of the upper of the shoe quite yet. I don't see any portions that look like that were on the previous shoe, the Boston 11, that are ripping here. Nothing sticks out from just, an immediate glance. Maybe we're losing a little bit of an Adidas decal here. That's not such a big deal, I would say. We're not ripping anything on the arch portion of the shoe either. Foam fatigue, again, it's the support foam is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to take the brunt of the fatigue, and you can see from the entire duration of the heel, that's just kind of what's going on, is that just some of the impacting forces in the front of the shoe. Also with the heel area here, just that fly rod is just producing, or it's not producing, it's kicking the energy from the front of the shoe, also with the back, depending on how you're rolling with the shoe. And even if I'm like midfoot striking and lifting off, that foam is going to pull with my foot if the heel lock is done right. So the entirety of the shoe is working, I think, as it's supposed to at this time. And I guess the million-dollar question, we'll keep this video short, right? I don't have any massive updates with it other than like two things, right? This is now the second longest running shoe in my lineup since 2020, next to the Nike Pegasus 37. And now the second question is, will I retire this shoe? And there's probably two right answers to this. One is that if I retired the shoe tonight, I would not be mad about it. Number one, I would probably end up buying either the Boston 13 when it comes out, whenever that's announced. At the time of this video, I don't think I know anything about it. Or two, I would go buy another pair of Boston 12, or even downgrade to Boston 11 and just have that shoe as like the easy to slightly tempo style trainer in my my daily lineup. And now the reason I would still keep this here is because, again, most of my miles are on the treadmill right now until conditions outside improve. There's a lot of snow, a lot of ice. This is not necessarily that kind of a trail runner shoe to withstand those elements without A, producing some kind of slip with the polishing that's going on, or B, sinking into snow and then absorbing water into the shoe, and now you have a sad day of running outside. So if the luxury of running on a treadmill is available, I will take advantage of it. At this time, I think next week we'll get better Chicago weather. So I'm looking forward to that finally. But again, there's just something about the Adidas Boston Series shoe that's working unusually well in the year 2023, 2024 that I'm optimistic about when it comes to daily lineup shoes. Because most of you who have followed this channel, like, I've been a Nike dweeb for at least since 2018, and, you know, the genesis of this channel was probably like late 2019. So I was all about the Nike product. I had Hoka One One in my lineup when it was still Hoka One One, and now it's just Hoka. And Adidas was never really on my radar for shoes to test. And now I'm seeing, like, as the Nike product quality for daily trainers has greatly diminished since 2022, maybe even like 2021 if we're going to be fair, it's safe to say that I'm very optimistic about the Adidas lineup of product and testing more of it out as we go along, including their race day shoes. Because the problem with like a race day shoe, for me at least, is I end up being kind of a hard ass about it, so I don't necessarily want to change what works. And to be frank, I've had like maximum 2 styles of racing shoes in my race lineup materials in the last 3 years, I think, which was the Vaporfly Next% 2 and the Alphafly, and that was it. Yeah, I didn't use the Alphafly 2 for any races. I haven't used the Vaporfly Next% 1 since I think 2021, I would say, and I used it like as a one-off for a sprint triathlon, which, like, again, it's a great shoe. I love that shoe. It's just that the Vaporfly Next% 2 is available. The upper is kind of friendlier in my opinion, but whatever. So tangents aside, like, if Adidas is going to make this product that's going to last a long time, as this one is currently doing so in my lineup, and it's going to be a quality product, then, like, you best believe, like, we're going to test more Adidas shoes as it becomes available and more new product comes out. So, yeah, highly optimistic. I know you guys recommended I try out the Boston, and, like, thanks, guys. It's been an awesome decision to do so. And we will push the shoe to about 400 plus miles. We'll see if at that point we get some outdoor miles. If I think my hard stop point with this shoe will be if we start tearing up this rubber in the front area of the shoe, because what's happening as like the slight negative is that I'm experiencing a little bit of peroneal tendonitis in some areas, and it is as a result of using shoes that have slightly worn out more than something with fresh foam on them. So that being said, we are kind of running on fumes with the Adidas Boston 12, but we do want to see, you know, we want to see what the violence on the shoe ends up doing to it in this stage of its shoe lifespan. Like, that's kind of the point here too. Like, yeah, we want to run it to a safe point, but as long as the body allows for it, we want to destroy this thing too through natural running, just to see how far we can take it before, you know, A, we quit on the shoe, or 2, I get hurt for like 2 months and then, you know, running reviews kind of stop. So we don't want that to happen. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So again, if you have a similar experience with the Adidas Boston 12, let me know in the comments below. If you agree or disagree with the assessment, again, let's just talk about it, you know. But that's where we are with the Boston 12. I think the majority of us agree that this is a very consistent, it's not the world's greatest daily trainer, but it is one of the most consistent, most reliable daily trainers that I could think of in the year 2023 and leading into 2024. Very strong contender as such. So we're going to keep pushing it into, you know, the training blocks I've got kind of scheduled for myself, and we'll just keep on, you know, just chugging along with it. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.